All right. Secondly, what I would like to show is the existence of presets now, how to change between them, how to make them, and also how in general that improves the prompting and what belongs to it. Um, so let's start by showing you if you would go to your settings, you got all your settings in here and you would make a change. Let's increase the temperature. And then I would like that to be a preset. So for example, this is now deep seek high temp. And then maybe let's make a second one. Now let's save this preset and then let's make a second one deep seek. Let's go lower the temp so I don't save the same one. Oops, that was the top beat. Let's go lower the temp, maybe to 70. And then save, make this deep seek low temp. And save this preset. And what you have now, so while you're chatting, you got this little button here. You can turn this on and off if you don't like this, by the way, but you can switch between the temps. So I could pick this one, or I could pick this one, and then it just fluent. And then you can just keep chatting with that. And if you would like to change it, you just have like one click here, and it changes it on the fly. So that's a nice add-on. And then a big one was, in general, the improved prompt viewer. So there's a lot of things now that I added. For example, I talked with Greg about implementing Freaky Frankenstein, which I love, but I want to show everything that's happening really to you. So you know what was the exact prompt and why was it good or why was it bad. So you can really design it if you want to put that work in. You can really design it and make it in a way that you get the answer that you really love to have. And the prompt viewer, in my opinion, is the best way to get an understanding of what happened. You see the exact prompt if you want as a download, but you also see what went as a main prompt, what was in the persona, what was the last instructions, the highest priority. And now I'm gonna show you, let's add a Lorebook to this chat. Let's activate some threads in the Lorebook, and let's activate Freaky Frankenstein. Let's write a message and let's compare where these injections that we made with the Lorebook and with Freaky Frankenstein, and where they came in and how that changed the AI's response, right? So, if you have a character, like this is an example character, and you want to add a Lorebook to this character, there's two ways you could do it. With the edit button here, where you can just design your character, and you go to Lorebooks and you click attach a Lorebook. So let's just pick a Lorebook here. This is just an example Lorebook that I have, and let's save it. Yeah, if you want to see the Lorebooks, you can go to Lorebooks and you can see the entries here of the Lorebook. So for example, I have some cities here, so let's, as an example, try to trigger the Golden Lotus City Lorebook entry. But then, before we do that, let's also try and use Freaky Frankenstein. By the way, I don't know if I showed that, there's also a summary feature now. So if you want to summarize your chats, you can do it here. But you can also do Freaky Frankenstein as an injection here. So for example, I go to the Max Plus or I go to the Bold. I have these two versions in here now. Maybe there's versions coming in later. But you can do it all custom if you wanted to. Yeah, if you really wanted to, you can do it all custom. But if you would be going here, you would have these things turned on. To be honest, it's probably a little bit much. It's gonna give us I think a kind of freaky answer, but I mean, it's called Freaky Frankenstein. So let's inject that into the chat. So now what we have, the character has the Lorebook, and we have Freaky Frankenstein injected here via the injections panel on the chat tools. And now let's just try this again. And let's try and trigger the Lorebook entry, right? And then let's see how it goes. Okay, so you can see sometimes now that we injected so much, maybe there was a problem with DeepSeek and it didn't really understand, okay, is this a thinking part? What kind of is this? So for some reason it told us generate output. That's not good. So that's something we need to improve on. Of course, the more you inject here, the more complex it gets and the more possible errors you can also get, right? But now we're talking about what's the best way to prompt. You can talk about that for years. What I really want to show is the prompt viewer that shows you what happened now. So you can see there was one Lorebook entry in total, which was the Golden Lotus City that was activated. And you can see where the injection here was mixed in. So you can see 16 blocks, it was 4,500, that's a lot. Okay, but it injected a lot of tokens and you can see the exact injection that happened in the certain place. And so now if you would download it, you would also see the whole thing. You would also see the whole thing right here, yeah? Yeah. So that's that. That's the prompt viewer. That's what I wanted to show. There's new additions to how you can control this. And of course, the whole idea is still give you the nicest atmosphere you can. You can use pictures in the background, right? You can use different YouTube videos. A lot of the content of YouTube videos you see here is not my content, of course. So I'm gonna give credits if I showed anything that's not from me. But yeah, I hope you like to play around it. What I'm aiming now for is kind of a little bit of a tutorial next, how to use things, because I think at this point you can really have fun with it and it really works well. And so I just want to show you how do you download the character maybe from, let's say, Chop AI, and how do you implement it in Pretty Tavern and play with that in Pretty Tavern. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you guys. Have a good one. So I still forgot to show some things that I wanted to show in the menus. So I'm gonna put it here also in the video. I hope you don't mind the little tiny jumpiness here, but in the menuing on the side, I try to, because before we had, that is something I personally noticed, when you get a lot of characters and you get a lot of chats, at some point it got a little bit, you know, how you say, it was hard to keep it organized and have a good overview of what's going on. So I tried to give some collapsibles here, but also the view all characters button has changed. So this looks like this, but you also, or it's the module that changed. You also have an easier way to understand where you are, and you do have a carousel view. I don't know if I want to make this default, but you can also scroll, go through it. You can delete them here. So I wanted to make this a little bit nicer. And then for the chats, we only have 2 chats, but if you look at all the chats, they will be lined up like this, and it will be scrollable. And you can edit your chats right here, and you can also, you know, sort them for most messages and stuff. So just to make it a little bit easier to go through these things and make edits if you have more data later on and you use the system for quite some time. So that's another thing that's added and that I forgot to show. So yeah.